friends. Happy Friday. How is everyone doing this evening? Hopefully having as wonderful and glorious a Friday as I am, and it is a glorious Friday here. I have here the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli, and it is filled with Haunted Bookshop as is tradition. I hope you were all well and your weekend's off to a great start, and let's get the fun started by seeing who we got joining us this evening. I see Robert Markland. Robert, I saw you weren't having a good Friday. I hope that gets better for you soon. And buddy, I want to thank you because I had one of those existential moments here where it's like 2 minutes before the show starting. I'm like, nobody's chatting. Maybe this will be the show where no one shows up. But then Robert popped up. So thank you, Robert. And I do hope your Friday gets better. We got Ian Haywood. Good to see you, Ian. Jeffrey Feinberg. Always good to see you, buddy. Steve. How you doing, Steve? Matt RVA, good to see you, Matt. Big Dave, hello Dave. Cypress Piper, Gary Edminster, Hillbilly Piper, how's it going, Donnie? Signal Man Tony from Rhode Island, the man responsible for this week's Tobacco of the Month. This month's Tobacco of the Week. No, this month's Tobacco of the Month. There we go. I got it right eventually. Good to see you, Tony. Robbie M, trying to sort through his blends. Hope you get that sorted soon, Robbie. Michael Case. Sup, Michael? Having a tall iced tea with lefty of ice? Well, I hope you enjoy it, Michael. Rich B1, Ian Haywood says he stuck his pipes in a Tupperware bowl today, walked by the pipe stand and got a whiff of stale smoke. Huh. Okay. Gary's got a Peterson house pipe with French vanilla and double X. Very nice. Robbie M, hello. Flint Hill Briar, good to see you, buddy. There's Ahmed Salman. Good to see you, Ahmed. Stanley Smith, Big Country Briar, how's it going, Cole? It's just a weird one is all, says Robbie. Well, many of mine are weird, Robbie. There's Big Dave saying there's quite a delay on the audio. Dave, it's not my fault. Try to reload your browser. I have zero to do with any audio delay. Once the audio delay starts, that's up in YouTube land. So there's nothing I can do about that. Blake's Pipes. Good evening, Blake. Robbie M is Pirate Frog. Okay, Robbie, gotcha. Sorry, everybody's seeing a delay. All I do is set up the streaming software and it goes out. I have no control over that. So unless somebody knows differently than me, I have no control over that. Eric, the blue collar pipe smoker, I am not doing Halloween until it's actually Halloween season, you holiday rollbacker, you. Eric's posting like pumpkin spice lattes and how to make fall potpourris and stuff over on Instagram. He just disgusts me. I'm just kidding, Eric. I hope you're enjoying whatever you're smoking, buddy. And we'll all catch up eventually and enjoy the Halloween season. Okay, some folks are saying it seems good, so that makes me think it's not me, which is good. It's all my fault, says Ian, and Rich says he appreciates it. Okay, good enough. Thank you all. David Bookshop, home with COVID. Oh, my goodness. But I'm glad you're here, buddy. Glad you can join us. Robbie got a puppy. Oh, Robbie. I hope that's a good thing. I mean, I've never had a bad I've got a puppy experience, but I've had like 2 days later, why did I get a puppy? It's always turned out well, but there is that, like, hey, I got a puppy, and then it just drops for a couple of days. Hope you're having a great time with it, Robbie. Oh, Cole's got a tough decision to make there. I would recommend you start with the cobblestone hiking because it'll be a shorter smoke and then switch over to the Oliva cigar. That's what I would recommend. Flash. What are you flashing, Rich? I'm sure the puppy is perfect. I started going to this pet store, which is actually a little bit out of my way, but it kind of reminds me of an old-fashioned pet shop. And one of the things they have are dogs and cats and rabbits and stuff, and they always have some puppies, and it is so hard for me to walk out of there without a puppy, but my wife would kill me. She is your profile pic. Let me see what I can see. Oh my goodness, she is perfect. I can barely see it, but yeah, Robbie, that's great. That's great. I'm glad you concur there, Cole. Go for it. Ah, yes, Dave, let us pray indeed. May the gods of TV grant us the beauty of the Great Pumpkin with Charlie Brown. You know what, Big Dave? If it's not going to be on regular TV, I'm fairly certain I've got the DVD somewhere. And I'll make this promise to you. I will live stream It's the Great Pumpkin with Charlie Brown. And it'll get flagged and taken down and all that, but hey, at least for that 45 minutes or so, we can enjoy the Great Pumpkin with Charlie Brown together. How does that sound? How much is that doggy in the window? Indeed, Piper said, good to see you. Yes, Gary, they have rabbits. Not the last time I was there, but they did have rabbits. Cheers to you, Cole. Red Breast 12 with a Diet Dr. Pepper. My goodness. I picked up a bottle of Rittenhouse Rye last week, and I was pretty surprised at how much I liked it. Not too pricey, and quite a nice rye. I don't have that tonight. What I have tonight is something very interesting. It's from Evil Genius Brewery, which is a local Philadelphia brew pub. And this is their chocolate hazelnut imperial stout. Don't judge me, it doesn't taste like any of those things. It's just a stout. Chocolate hazelnut imperial stout named I'll Have What She's Having. The name alone should get me some points, right? Couch, Ilva's taking care of Dad. Oh, well, I hope Dad's doing well, Couch, and I hope you and Ilva are in good spirits tonight. And I'm glad that Ilva's giving you the opportunity to watch this. Robbie, I lived in Pittsburgh for many years, but if I had to choose, I'd say Flyers just because that's what I grew up with. But honestly, I'm not really a hockey fan. But if I had to pick, I'd say Flyers. And definitely not the Rangers, Blake. Definitely not. Patrick Grant, good evening to you, sir. And yes, Ian, please, guys, do hit the like. It helps get the word out about the YouTube Pipe community. Don't care about my channel. I just want the community to grow. And the more you like any YouTube Pipe community channel, the more people will get to see channels like that, and therefore the more our community grows. So it's not a selfish thing. I don't care how many subscribers I have, but it helps grow the community. Same thing with subscribing and notifications and liking and all that stuff. It all goes together. Hey, look at that. Couch and I agree. Wait a minute. Yep, Couch and I agree on the Rangers. That's pretty cool. Patrick's a Devils fan. We won't hold that against you, Patrick. Rich is splitting time between me and all of his friends on the phone. You have all of your friends on the phone at the same time, Rich? You poor man. Gary, I'm sorry you're experiencing lags and stuff, but it's out of my hands. It's YouTube. Between you and YouTube. Terry Davey, how you doing, buddy? And there's my buddy Lymphoma. Good to see you, my friend. You know what? I opened the beer and I never poured it. Not going to drink itself, Michael. Well, almost poured it all over myself. I didn't do a good job with that at all. I'm not going to get the whole can in. Got way too big of a head. Let that settle a bit. Made a proper mess. Sacrilege indeed, Patrick. Gilligan one smart Mo Ruby. A true fan, Robbie. You know, West B28, there, I really can't recommend a good pipe or tobacco shop. I mean, I can tell you a couple of places, but the closest one we have is not really in southeastern Pennsylvania, but it's up in Hamburg, and it's the Cigar International. They have a pretty reasonable selection of tobacco and pipes, but it's not worth the trip to visit. Yeah, who cares? Somebody asked me if I was upset about it. I said no, I'm not a 13-year-old girl. A lot of pipers headed to Virginia. I wish I could go, but with the car and everything, I just couldn't justify it. Lefty68, how you doing, Lefty? Happy Friday. Good to see you, buddy. And Life with a Pipe. Good to see you too. Blake is going in the morning to Richmond. I wish I could join you, Blake. I still haven't gotten my car back, by the way. They called me tonight to let me know it was finished, so I might pick it up over the weekend. I got to figure out how to get there, so that's going to be fun. Those huts look pretty comfortable there, Robbie. Wouldn't worry too much about it. Hey, the Smooth Piper. How you doing, Peter? Good evening to you, sir. You know, Dave, I don't even find her all that easy to look at. She's kind of trashy looking. Jeffrey has the circle of death upon his device. Oh no, Peter ran out of haunted bookshop. That's terrible. But he's got some haunted pirate ship to back that up. Well, that's not too bad. Oh, I already know what it's going to cost, Michael. It's not going in a checkbook. It's going on a credit card. But it's still worth it. Good advice, Blake. I've always wanted a motorcycle, and when I actually got old enough and financially stable enough, which I guess you could call gold enough now that I think of it, um, my wife said no, and I didn't want to have her be proven right. So, Yornik, hello there, buddy. Good to see you. Or use. I grew up with it too, Robbie. Yeah, it was a big part of my early years. Your friend's city gave her mosquitoes? How do you get mosquitoes? Levi Haywood, hello, good to see you. Not fall here, Big Dave. Which is why nobody should be smoking pumpkin-shaped pipes and drinking pumpkin beer while they play Halloween music over their videos and talk about Halloween movies. I'm not mentioning any particular people, Eric. Cypress, I saw a couple of memes that indicated that I don't know anything about her. I don't know other than I know little girls like her, and that's about it. Girls below the voting age seem to like her quite a bit, and that's literally everything I know about that woman. Oh, and she got tied up with something about the what's his name, Kelsey. I know that story, but I ignored it. All alone, Yornik. Shift work, I assume. Hope all is well, and yeah, hope the internet does work. It does hold. Ah, sorry to hear that, Wes, but hey, at least you know what you would be smoking, right? All right, this is calmed down enough for me to top it off now. Hopefully get the rest of the can in here, and then I can finally have a drink. There we go. So, evil genius, I'll have what she's having. Cheers. I'll read you the description of this in a minute, but it is quite good. Um, no loss, says Rich B1. Oh, I didn't think it was. Uh, Blake says Christmas is already in the stores. I think we need to expand the Halloween season. Blake, this is why I've been complaining about the expansion of Christmas. And well, first off, Christmas has wiped out Thanksgiving. Like Thanksgiving practically doesn't exist anymore. Uh, I don't know if we start expanding Halloween, we're gonna squeeze Thanksgiving out even more, and we're gonna wind up running into Labor Day. I mean, it's just silly. What I think we should do is we should roll over Thanksgiving and just continue Halloween right up until like the middle of December. That would show them. Yes, Eric is a bit of a Halloween junkie, and God bless him. I mean, him, my buddy Mark in Rhode Island, myself, and I know many others are Halloween junkies, so I get it. But oh, Joita, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, Michael Case. Apparently, she had some thing for Cheers or something. I don't know. It is sad, isn't it, Big Dave? Keep your pets safe. I don't have any Dracula pipes because they're Petersons. Oh, you're gonna read Bram Stoker. Have you read Bram Stoker before Cypress Piper? Because I was surprised the first time I read Bram Stoker. Yes, Codger Jim, that will soon be the case. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas carols. Creator, I don't even know that much. The pictures I've seen of her, she looks like a 30-year-old woman trying to look like she's a 15-year-old girl, and it just is disturbing. But I'm gonna get in so much trouble. Why do you guys make me do this? Gary has many Petersons and no Draculas. Well, Halloween season is upon us, Gary. Maybe you should rectify that. So Kate has a Peterson, Jekyll, and Hyde Urnick. That fits the bill for sure. I have a special Halloween pipe, but it's not coming out until Halloween. Oh, okay. That's cool, Cypress. I was just surprised at how it's very different from what you might expect going into a book that is, about Dracula. It just, to me, it was very different, but good book nonetheless. Michael, I don't know when my wife will be back, if ever. I'm kidding about that. She will be back. We're just fine. She's doing a really good thing there, helping out with her dad. But sadly, the truth is she's going to be there until her dad passes, and I can't predict that, and I don't want to predict that. It'll happen when it happens. When God's ready for him, he will call him home, and then we'll go out there and have a funeral and take care of things that need to be taken care of family wise. And when she's ready, she'll come back, and she'll be 1000% welcome home. I can't wait. But at the same time, I don't want it to happen too soon because I want her dad to, you know, live as long as he's supposed to. Nick, don't take this the wrong way, but I thought you were that kind of people. And I mean that in saying that, I should say I respect that kind of people. Frankenstein. Doug, any place on earth is better if you put a great pub with fish and chips into it. It would be a good time to get a motorcycle, wouldn't it, Blake? Is that true, Eric? A Dracula demi-church? So let me get this straight. Peterson has not yet released the Halloween pipe of the year? And yet you find it necessary to celebrate Halloween. My goodness. Phil Rivera. Hello, Phil. Good to see you, buddy. Spooky lefty. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people find this that way. Good to have you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. My darling wife has been watching, and with my sister-in-law apparently, and I need to clean up my desk. That's not a desk, that's a workbench. What you got back there is work in progress, darling. That's what work looks like. And Denise wants to buy me Halloween tobacco. No, I don't want Halloween tobacco. Unless I hear there's this really good Halloween tobacco called Haunted Bookshop, but you can only buy it by the pound. If any of you guys didn't catch on, my wife is commenting in the comments right now. And I'm trying to trick her sister into buying me a pound of Haunted Bookshop. Flint Hill would buy a great I'd buy a great pumpkin pipe, unless it was a Peterson. I think having a great pumpkin pipe would be just fine. Big Dave, that would make an absolutely fine Halloween special, wouldn't it? If they put that on instead of the great pumpkin, would you be happy? No, Yornik, I don't think pipe mortar on a mirror makes sense. I would just use plaster of Paris. Because mirrors don't build cake and pipe mortar is designed to actually build cake. So you're better off with just the plaster of Paris. Yes, Patrick, we mentioned that earlier, and I'll mention it again. Thank you for bringing it up. So the auction to support our buddy Phil Rivera that London Calling with Simon is doing is tomorrow night starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you're not in the Eastern time zone, you can figure out what time that is for yourself. Because I'm not doing that. Because beer. Oh my goodness, Doug, do you think she was listening in while we were plotting for me to buy a motorcycle? That would be bad. Yes, someone just left the motorcycle on the front porch on a dark and moonless night. It was downright creepy. It might be haunted. We can't turn it away because there might be a curse associated with it. All right, David Bookshop, I will definitely keep that in mind. This is very weird. I've got 2 family members watching for the first time, and I'll have to what's the word I'm looking for? Not censor, not edit, filter. No, that's not right either. What is the word I'm looking for? Yes, everybody say hello to my wife, Elisa. And say hello to her sister, my sister-in-law, Denise. Anybody else watching, sweetheart? I'm looking forward to Larry's new Tampers too. There, Smooth Piper. You know, if somebody does leave a motorcycle on my front porch and on a dark and moonless night, and I would have to keep it because it might be haunted and couldn't possibly turn it away, and it had saddlebags, I think they would have to be filled with haunted bookshop. I think that would be essential. Oh goodness, you're going to haunt me? I can only have one, huh? She. That's right, Michael. That's right. Uh, yes, Yornik, we have been very nice and proper here so far. So, Steve, you got to go. Okay, thanks for joining us, buddy. You have a great weekend there, my friend. I think I have one of Larry's skull tampers too, Patrick. I got to go through the collection. I got quite a few of Larry's Halloween tampers. They are my favorite. I think I'd do a helmet, Big Dave, because I'm just clumsy. I'm better than Death in Paradise, mainly because I don't do reruns. But Death in Paradise is an excellent show if you guys haven't seen it. So the fact that anyone would watch me instead of Death in Paradise, that's. And look, I even wore a decent shirt tonight, which is kind of surprising. So good thing, because I get yelled at tomorrow if I didn't. It's about the same as Death in Paradise. Yeah, pretty much. Our brains are basically Jello. I've seen them, and they're not much better than Jello. uh, Cole, I don't think that's a Cole. I can't even get through this. Uh, I am wearing pants tonight, Michael. I always wear pants down here in the basement. There's spiders, for goodness sakes. So the Ginger versus Mary Ann versus Mrs. Howell debate has begun for the night, and Big Country Briar wants to know. So, Elisa, Denise, what do you think? Ginger or Mary Ann? Abbott or Costello? No, I like that one, Abbott or Costello. And I have to go with Costello because Abbott was kind of Abbotty. Oh, Cole, be careful. Those are fighting words. There's more than one fellow on here that has gone the Mrs. Howe route. I don't know why, but Laurel or Hardy. Is it the money, Big Dave? Yeah. Paul Johnson, how you doing, buddy? Luxury bullseye flake and a 2020 meerschaum. Very nice. Denise chose the professor. Hey, there you go. And what about you, Lisa? Skipper or Gilligan? I don't think anybody's going to choose between those two. Actually, of the castaways, I guess Skipper was probably the best guy to go for, huh? I mean, Mr. Howe obviously, but he was taken. So if you weren't going to be a homewrecker, you know, Skipper was kind of, and Gilligan was, yeah, you get it. Michael, I don't even know what to do with that information. I agree, Phil. He wasn't that great of a professor. As one comedian said, he could make a radio out of two coconuts, but he couldn't fix a 3 foot hole in the side of a boat. Oh, was Costello not Abbott? Okay, Michael. Still problematic. Paragon Piper, how you doing, buddy? Mr. Howe was Mr. Magoo, Big Dave. I remember somebody telling me that when I was a kid while I was watching Mr. Magoo, and it just suddenly, just like that moment crystallized, like, oh my goodness, Mr. Magoo has got somebody else's voice. And it might have been the first time I realized that cartoons were voiced over. I mean, I knew they weren't real, but Ron Hardcrackers, how you doing, buddy? It was running an experiment. There you go, Yornik. It was part of the experiment. He was a professor of English literature. That would explain a lot, Doug. They never did say what his major was, did they? It's a mystery, Big Dave. I'm sure they washed them in the lagoon, and they probably had some soap that the professor made out of coconut fat or something. Fractured Fairy Tales was cool, Phil. Yeah. Creator, the quality control in Peterson has just gone way downhill. And I'm basing that on having had to repair a lot of Petersons that were brand new. Uh, just compared to what they used to be back in the day. I mean, even as recently as the late '80s, early '90s, they're just not the same pipes. And I know people love them and people swear by them and all that. And if that's your opinion, that's great. But I wouldn't buy a Peterson pipe because I just have not seen quality pipes come out of that factory. Seeing recommendations for Fallout, I don't even know what that is. Smarty Bob came in. Hey, Smarty Bob. Good to see you, buddy. Uh, before I forget, my buddy Armchair Piper Ed, who hasn't shown up yet tonight. So if he shows up, everybody has to tell him that I did this. He is doing smoke rings around the world again. He does it every year on September 15th, which would be this Sunday. So if you would like to participate, blow a few smoke rings on Sunday. If you want to make a video even better, a video of you blowing smoke rings. Ed loves them. He collects them up, makes a compilation video every year, which is always a lot of fun. I will try to remember on Sunday that I need to blow some smoke rings, which I'm terrible at, but I will try my best. And we'll see. But yeah, Ed's a good guy, and he really tries to get this out every year as sort of a fellowship building exercise. So try to remember that on Sunday at some point. Blow a smoke ring. Oh, Doug Owen's getting a laugh. What did he do? It was a while back. Well, I'll let you get off, Doug. I'll let you off easy. I won't find it. Um, Speaking of getting a laugh, we said we were going to do stupid joke night next week, and I have gotten exactly 0 stupid jokes. So what gives, guys? Several people wanted it. Nobody sent me a joke. If you want me to just retell the sternum joke from last week over and over again, I can do that. I'm happy to do that for an hour and a half. Fellowship of the Smoke Ring, indeed, Yornik. Smarty Bob's been practicing? Has Smarty Bob had problems in the past? Sleepy Piper Todd, good to see you, buddy. Tomorrow is the London Calling with Simon auction, Smarty Bob. Yes, yes. And that's at 7 p.m. Eastern on Simon's channel. And I've got a post on my channel that links to a video on his channel that explains it all. But great pipes, great cause, supporting our buddy Phil Rivera. So do check that out. I'll be there. And I just might be bidding if it doesn't get so far out of my range that it's not possible. Blake doesn't like Savinelli's. That's interesting, Blake. I've had pretty good luck with Savinelli's, but you know, everybody can be hit and miss at times. Might be the holiday might be the reason. Yeah, Blake. Smarty Bob's got some jokes. Michael's collecting them. Okay, okay. I'll look forward to them coming in. We need them in by if you could get them to me before like Thursday, that'd be great because I got to print them all out and stuff. Ron was watching Wheel of Fortune and an old schoolmate was a contestant. That is cool. Came in second, winning 11 grand. Very cool, Ron. Her mother was a favorite English teacher. Savinelli's aren't Petersons. That's one of the reasons I like them. Oh my goodness. I'm getting a stupid joke now. They're supposed to come in for next week. All right. Can somebody please help my wife with this joke? From my sister-in-law, what do you call a teacher who never passes gas in public? Cole, I don't know anything about the auction. Phil's still on. Phil, do you know if it's a live auction or if he's taking silent bids or what's going on there? Sir or ma'am, says Rich B1. That could be it. Oh, Phil, that's hilarious. Phil's buddy was kicked out of a Peterson pipe group when someone asked who made the best Irish pipes, and he answered Italy. That is funny. Luke Starr, good to see you, buddy. He says the answer to the joke is private tutor. I just got that. That's funny. It is a live auction, says Patrick. It's live, but he has been taking silent bids already. So, Cole, if there's something you're interested in, you could get a bid in, I guess. Private pooter, says creator. Passes gas in public. Is flatulent in public? Has a bad case of the winds in public? I don't like to say that word. I don't like to say a lot of words, so. So I finished up my haunted bookshop, and we got to move on to pipe number 2. And I think I'm going to do the tobacco of the month again. Flatulent. That could be the answer, Phil. Maybe that's what you're calling. Watch, they probably went off to watch Death in Paradise and we're never going to know the answer. Private tottering. So for the second pipe, I have my Lane Crown Achievement pipe here. Lovely piece of workmanship, which I've told the story many times before, but I got it free when I bought a pound of Crown Achievement, which I still have. Ah, okay, so Luke Star is the winner. The answer is a Tudor. Okay. Yes, Phil, I've appreciated your anomalous nature, and your self-defecating sense of humor is always a refreshing breath of wind. So what does Luke Star win? So we're going to fill up this pipe with the tobacco of the month here. It's Esoterica Dunbar, Virginia Perique. Been very enjoyable. My main comment on it so far is I wish it had more Perique. But it's a very nice, solid Virginia blend. Creator Crown Achievement is a Lane blend that is it's basically an English with Perique. And the reason I bought it You brought the Crown Achievement pipe up to Matt from the cigar shop, Rich? It might be a breath of wind, Rich. I'm not sure. Oh, they're watching the Hallmark Channel now. Okay, well, I know where I rate then. It's Death in Paradise, me, and the Hallmark Channel. In conversation, I see. Yeah, this was actually, it's made by, I believe it was an English company that I can never remember the name of. It begins with an H. It might be Hedden or Hansen or something like that. And they went out of business, and Lane bought up a bunch of their unfinished stummels and finished them and put stems on them, and thus was born the Crown Achievement pipe. I bought the pound of Crown Achievement because, I'm not a lot of Kia guy, but I really used to love Lane Limited's number 10 Downing Street, and they stopped making it, and then they reintroduced Crown Achievement, and a lot of the buzz around that suggested that it might be similar to number 10. It wasn't. That's why I still have most of the pound. I see, Rich. Oh, cool. It is a very nice pipe. Really enjoyed it since I got it. Although I'll tell you an interesting story about it. When I got it the first time, it wasn't fully drilled. Talk about quality control. You get a pipe, and well, I don't know about you, but I get a pipe, and the first thing I do is I draw through it because I want to see how the draw is, and a lot of times I'll immediately go and open up the funnel and the stem and stuff to improve the draw. And I went to draw on it, and it was like, block solid. And I thought there was something stuck in there, so I took it apart and got a flashlight, and it wasn't drilled. They hadn't drilled the airway. And yeah. Yes, Phil, that was a good joke. So I know you're not a fan of aromatics, but I've been mixing 1/4 Old Toby with 3/4 Carter Hall. Call it Toby Carter Hall or Toby C Hall, and the Burleys pair up really well. Well, that's really cool, Luke. Phil's joke earlier today, he wrote it there in the chat, is it was just one of these meme type things where just words, and it said, I decided to make sure my wife woke up with a smile. I'm no longer allowed to have Sharpies in the house. I don't know if they stopped making Crown Achievement, Cole. I really don't know. So you're writing a Substack blog, Rich? That's really cool. Millennial Codger, how you doing? Having a wonderful day here. Hope you are too. That's not good ventilation. That's bad. What's bad? Oh, the fact that it wasn't drilled. Yeah, yeah, it was bad. So, okay, this is fully degenerated. Big Dave and my wife are now discussing Hallmark movies in the chat. Here's a sentence I never thought I would make. And Denise is still thinking about the prize. Our Buckeyes are good. Yernick's got a dumb joke. You're supposed to send them to me so I can read them next week. Grandfather rewrote his will 5 times. That's what you get when you're married to an English teacher. White Ash Piper squared. Honey, I had a date last night. Today I'm having a banana. Oh, oh, oh. They discontinued Crown Achievement. Okay, Lefty. A couple years ago. My goodness. Oh, Phil, that's really funny. I don't know if they're going to get that. That is very funny. Brian Ackerley, hello. Greetings to you in California. Peterson house pipe filled with luxury bullseye flake. Nice. Patrick saying Crown Achievement is still available. So it was sold both in bulk and tins. Maybe they just stopped the tins? Doug, are you trying to guess at the name of the pipe manufacturer? With the Harold Hallberg? I don't think it wasn't 2 names. It was just one name, and it was something like Hallberg or Halden or Hedgen or something like that. I thought it was an English company, but I could be wrong about that. Maybe I'll have to get out a jar of the Crown Achievement and put that into the tobacco of the month choices. Well, considering the way the pipe was drilled, Rich B1, maybe they were a car maker. Yeah, I don't think it was Hallberg. Doug. Hedden, for some reason, sounds right to me. You know, I will research it and let you know next week. Now they're analyzing Phil's joke over there in Pittsburgh. So you said she's known for her buck eyes, and people would often say someone has buck teeth, and Phil said he had an aunt who was known for her. Oh, never mind. The Yugo of pipes. There you go. A Sassini second makes a fine Friday 7, Ellie there, Ron. and a Shiner Oktoberfest. Hey, I went out last night. It alternate Thursday nights are the big night where I get to go out to the bar I've told you about and have a few beers and a burger. And I did that last night. And one of the beers I had, partly inspired by the discussion we had last week, was a Sam Adams Oktoberfest. And I wasn't impressed. I've had them in the past and I've liked them, so maybe it's just this year, this version of it, but I just didn't. It wasn't as good as I remember. It was kind of like a slightly heavier version of like a Budweiser or a Coors or a Miller or something like that. I just didn't find it to be at all appealing. And it was the only Oktoberfest they had on tap, so that's why I got it. But I have had Sam Adams Oktoberfest in the past and enjoyed it. I usually like their winter lager as well. Yuengling Oktoberfest is usually pretty good, Rich, yeah. Oh, Phil, when I went to the beer store to buy this, which by the way is quite good. I don't know if I mentioned. I gotta read the description of this, but this is an imperial stout, so it's a little hefty on the alcohol. I think it's 9.8%. But when I went to the beer store to buy that, they had an entire aisle of pumpkin beers, and I was going to take pictures for you, but then I thought, nah, I've done that once. I mean, the joke's not funny anymore. I think the actual German Oktoberfest is held in September, Michael. If Eric's still on the chat, he went one year to the German Oktoberfest, if I recall. Ah, Phil's having a PBR right now. Nothing wrong with that. Let me read you the description of this fine drink. Uh, so it is a chocolate hazelnut imperial stout, but it really, I'm just getting some cocoa nuts off the stout, and that's it. Cocoa notes, not cocoa nuts, which is going back to Gilligan's Island. It is I'll Have What She's Having by Evil Genius. It's Philadelphia Brewing Company, and it says, our winter season imperial stout is infused with natural chocolate and hazelnut flavors. Rich, dark, and full-bodied, it is that, without being sticky sweet, and that's true. This beer is smooth, like so smooth. Rob Thomas and Carlos Santana on an ice luge smooth. That's smooth. Actually, you guys are going to have to help me. I know who Carlos Santana is, but who's Rob Thomas? What am I missing here? Smarty Bob, I do want to keep it friendly as much as possible. You know, double entendre will be okay, but flat out X-rated, I don't want. Mushroom Leg, hello, my friend. I've had a coconut beer, Rich. I think I drank your coconut beer here on the live stream. It wasn't very good. Patrick's got some Watch City Northeastern in a Sev 673KS. Fantasia drinking a Natty Daddy beer. Oh, it's a 673KS Fantasia. Gotcha. Ochoita had a Sierra Nevada beer called Torpedo IPA. Really enjoying a six-pack. Very nice. Sierra Nevada has some nice IPAs, I understand. I mean, I'm not a fan, but Rob Thomas sang lead on Santana's song Smooth. Okay. Well, that all makes sense then. He was the lead singer of Matchbox 20. Yornik doesn't drink beer. Tamala made it. Yeah, Lukester, I think his name was Dave, but that's really funny because I want to see Dave Thomas and Carlos Santana on an ice luge. You know, Phil, I've had the pleasure of being in an authentic British pub in England and getting an actual uh, proper British IPA served at the right temperature, and it was wonderful. And what I realized is that the flavor profile of that is so unique, and it's not masked by the temperature. That's one of the reasons why that they're served a little bit warmer, I think. And it was wonderful. So I get that. And, you know, everything I say about I don't like hops, I don't like IPAs is really based on things like what Sierra Nevada puts out. And again, I'm not criticizing them. Guys love it and that's fine. But for me, it's just too over hopped, and I think it's because we drink it too cold. Michael Case, Mount Angel, Oregon has an Oktoberfest every year this month, and the biggest thing in Mount Angel is the Benedictine Monastery. Make beer to make money. Wow. Well, Michael, I might have to put that on my bucket list. I've always wanted to see Oregon, and I love Benedictines, so gives me an excuse. Lefty's got a Bush latte? You must mean light, right? Or did you make some sort of weird coffee flavored? We can still be friends, Lefty. It's okay. Sierra Nevada Old Chico is a good beer, says, was that Patrick? Oh, it's Philip. Phil. First beer my dad bought for me when I turned 21 was a case of Blatz. He wasn't a beer guy. And I was so happy. Oh, it's unbelievable, Phil. You go into the grocery stores here, and it's just a wall of IPAs. And unless you want like Bud and Miller and those kind of things, you're getting an IPA. There's no other options. And you know, if you're an IPA guy, good for you. You know, but you know, there are people that don't like them. Oh, definitely, Doug. But Doug's a few hours from Puget Sound, Mount Angel, Oregon's close there. Michael, I'm assuming you're maybe me, Michael, and Doug can have a big meetup, and I'll go to Mount Angel and drink or not drink. Mushroom Leg is freezing. Sorry, buddy. You like that flame, Rich? I have no idea why it happens. I've reset the wick on this several times. You can see where that's set. It's not too terrible, and this thing just flares up like that. And it almost lit me on fire at the Columbus show this year. Because I was outside and it was windy, and without thinking, I lit it, and the darn thing blew back, and it nearly lit me on fire. Yeah. But I love it. It's been with me for, gosh, 30 years now. This is the one lighter that I worry about taking out because if I ever lose this, I don't know what I'll do. I'll be very sad. I'll buy another one, I guess. Michael's 20 miles from Mount Angel. That's okay, Michael. We can all meet there. Pig's Butt Porter. I don't know, Phil. Why do they have to name things like that? Rich, that just might be the silliest joke I've ever read. Ah, okay, Lefty, I got you. It's a Michigan hillbilly joke. Yes, it does have dirty implications, Rich. That's the kind of adult you. So I shouldn't even say this, but the game we often play on Stupid Joke Night is the guys try to slip jokes like that in on me, and I read them without realizing the dirty implications, and that gets me banned from YouTube. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Doug, you're old enough to remember the days when they called it marijuana? Huh. Did I ever tell you the story about my graduate school statistics teacher and his fascination with marijuana? Oh, I won't get banned, Rich. I'm just kidding. We're already adults only, and no advertising allowed. It's funny, every time I go to set up the live stream, it's got this thing where I have to choose whether or not I want to monetize the video. But it's colored in red with an exclamation point because I can't monetize the video. And I'm like, well, if I can't monetize it, why are you giving me the option to? I'm not going to anyway, but you told me I'm not allowed to, which is fine because I don't want to, but why do you give me the option if you're telling me I'm not allowed to? Oh, Phil, thank you for providing the earwig of the night. Go ask Alice. Yeah, I've actually never touched the stuff and never will. I've got no interest in it. Alcohol is just fine for me, and even that is more than I need most of the time. But there was this teacher, professor, when I was in graduate school who taught statistics. Lisa, if you're still watching, this was Bob P. My wife worked at the same university that I graduated from. Uh, Nice enough fellow, and he taught the statistics class, and I love statistics. I don't know how much I've talked about this, guys, but that's like my favorite thing in the world. Um, Mathematical statistics. I don't like just being able to do it. I like the underlying theory of it. Anyway, in the voice of Christopher Walken, that's much better, Phil. But he taught this class, and I so I was a psychology major before I went to graduate school, and I was in a neuroscience department. So they were expecting that their students were biology majors. And as a psychology major, I had a really solid grounding in statistics. But we had to take this class. It was one of the requirements. And it was taught from the standpoint of nobody knows any statistics, and we're starting from ground zero. So it was really boring for me. And he was sort of trying to be hip and with the times and everything, and so he would have examples. And when you take statistics classes, they all have examples, like you're going to measure, you can't measure every tree in the forest, so how do you estimate the average height of all the trees in the forest, those kind of things. Or we're going to measure the average height of all grade school students. How do you do that? Or we want to find out if a particular diet affects the height of grade school students. How would you do that? So there's these examples. All of his examples involved marijuana. All of them. I don't think there was a single example in this entire semester that did not involve marijuana. But that wasn't what was funny. What was funny is the number of names he came up with to talk about marijuana. Like every single class, it was a different, like, slang term. And half the time I didn't know what he was talking about. And, after a couple of classes, we caught on. But, it was Mary Jane and everything. It was just silly. It was absolutely silly. And, we all laughed at him behind his back, and he eventually went insane. But when White Rabbit peaks, I want you to throw the radio in the bathtub. Okay, Flint Hill. Bill, we gotta talk. They're eating the white rabbits. They probably are. All drugs are dead-end propositions eventually. I agree with you, Michael. Including alcohol, by the way. Just so you don't think I'm being high and mighty. The average height of hysteria, yeah. Wacky Tobacco was probably one of them, Yornik. That sounds familiar. I don't remember the term lid. I see Doug and Gary talking about that. Although I did have a gentleman approach me on a bus in Pittsburgh with a large suitcase full of baseball caps. And he sat down next to me and opened up the suitcase and said, "I was noticing you don't have yourself a lid." There was that. But I think he was referring to the hats. Weed was definitely one of them, Phil. I don't remember Ganji. Devil's lettuce. I don't think he used that one. But it was just kind of silly because this guy was about as, a straight-laced, sort of grandfatherly looking kind of guy as you could imagine. And he was just, and we weren't like teenagers, it wasn't like we're in high school or something. And he's like trying to be cool and stuff. It just was a silly, silly experience. And honestly, I can say that during the course of that semester, I probably had more statistics erased from my mind than I learned. This is my fault for bringing up this subject, but now I have no idea what people are talking about in the comments. Oh, wow, Ron. I sure hope that goes well for you, buddy. I think lymphoma actually signed off a little while ago, so he may not see that, but I know he would appreciate it. But yeah, sure hope that goes well, Ron. Keep you in prayer, buddy. Lukester, that's pretty funny too. And as a partial Italian, I'm allowed to laugh at that joke. Yeah, Paragon, the data on that is not as good as people claim it is in terms of chronic pain. And what's interesting is when they take the active ingredient, uh, either cannabinoids or the cannabidiols, and administer them in pills, patients report that there's no effect. So Yeah, I mean, the jury's still out on whether or not it works for chronic pain. But there are folks that are using it for chronic pain and it's working for them. So, what are you going to say? If it works for 2% of the population, it's never going to get FDA approval, but it doesn't mean it doesn't work for that 2%. I got really lucky. I've got pretty bad neuropathy in one leg that was a result of chemotherapy. And I, for whatever reason, Lyrica works wonders for me. And I know a lot of people say Lyrica does nothing, uh, but it really works amazing. Like I have no pain at all when I take it, and if I skip a dose, I know. So, everybody's different. I think I think there's a lot of different ways that we have the pain triggered, and therefore there's going to be a lot of different things that help us not experience that. Did I say crocodiles? I don't think I did, Rich. I might have. I don't know. I've been accused of saying worse. What did Phil accuse me of saying last week? I never went back to check if I said it. Something about camels, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, Cole, the weird thing about cannabis is not so much that people die in car accidents or from overdoses, but that it does seem to be high. Cannabis use is highly associated with other mental health issues. So if you're a cannabis user, you're much more likely to have schizophrenia, to have major depression, to have bipolar disorder. Um, it messes up your brain chemistry, is the bottom line. So it's especially in young people, especially during development periods. So you had that grapefruit juice issue run where it would mess up the drug metabolism if you drank the grapefruit juice. Well, hopefully that'll go well. Well, Paragon, I'm sorry to hear that. And again, if it works for you, it works for you. I'm not trying to call you a liar. I hope you don't think that. I'm just saying that the controlled studies don't bear it out, but it doesn't mean it doesn't work for a percentage of people. Well, creator, if you think any of those three are completely perfectly sane, let me know. Ah, right, it was camel spine instead of whale spine. I didn't say camel spine. I'm nearly certain I didn't. In South Africa, they call it daga. I don't think that was one that old Dr. Bob P knew. Maybe I should see if he's still around. I can send it to him. I doubt very much he's still around. It's hard to sort that out, Doug. I guess you could argue that if you're engaging in that sort of thing, you might already have a shaky personality. It is hard to sort that out because you can't do a controlled study. You can't say, hey, let's get a group of people and we'll test them and get them all, perfectly controlled, and then we'll give half of them cannabis. You just can't do that. So it can only be retrospective longitudinal type studies, longitudinal in terms of they're already using it. So it is hard to sort that out. Life with a Pipe, great having you here, buddy. You have a great weekend too. Yeah, I see what he did there too, Lukester. I mean, somebody informed me last week because a lot of people were bringing that up, and I didn't understand it. And apparently, it's actually a bit of an obscenity that I didn't know about. So I'm just going to ignore it. And of course, the other problem, Paragon, is if you're in a state where it's not legal, then you don't actually know what you're getting. And there's been obviously lots of people doing stuff with it and adding things to it and everything else. So it's just not safe. I didn't know about the Cancer Association, Michael. That's interesting. Of course, you can say the same thing about tobacco, um, which also is correlative, not causative. Nobody's ever been able to show causative effect of tobacco in terms of oral cancer or lung cancer for that matter. You still got that high-tech tamper going, Lefty? There you go. I've got it here somewhere. I haven't used it. There it is. I found it. I believe that's poplar. Lefty, by the way, is came in second place at the Columbus Pipe Show Slow Smoke competition. Phil, I apologize for saying that you were wrong, and I guess I did say camel spine. I don't know why. I knew it wasn't camel. Yeah, YouTube seems to be playing some games tonight, Yornik and Gary. Don't know what to tell you. Thank you for sticking with me through it, though. Hey, Doug, you got to take the money when you can, right? Only 8 minutes to go, Patrick. Indeed. Time does fly. Hard to believe it. I feel like I had some things I wanted to talk about tonight, but I guess we're not going to get to them. It is Friday the 13th. We never even mentioned that. Gotta drink some. Ken Burns did a Mark Twain? That's interesting, Flynn. I'll have to check that out. Mark Twain did love his pipes. Well, we're happy to have you, Yornik. He's back. I didn't go anywhere. I think YouTube's mad at me for saying I would tell adult themed jokes. That's got to be it. Or maybe they're mad about my wife for that whole Buckeye thing. I don't know. It's okay. We're coming to a close soon enough, Paragon. So just try to push through. We're often talking about you, Rich. You should hear what we say when you're not in the live stream. I'm kidding. We don't talk about you. Denise wants to know if I've seen Secondhand Lion, or if anyone's seen Secondhand Lion. I have seen Secondhand Lion. It's an excellent movie. Anyone else want to weigh in on Secondhand Lion? That has, is that Richard Harris? And that other guy? And that kid? And a lion. I think that was the cast. And it might not have been Richard Harris, now that I'm thinking of it. I can't remember. Good movie, though. All right, Haunted Piper. Hello, Haunted Piper. He says, amazing movie. Flint Hill Briar loves it. Lukester's blaming the first liar. I'm sure the second one was just as guilty. Lefty likes it. Yeah, it's a good movie. I'm surprised we didn't see Ed either, but he can be a busy guy. Michael Caine and Richard Harris. Thank you, creator. Thank you. Was Duvall? No, Duvall was in Wrestling with Ernest Hemingway. Was Duvall and Michael Caine? Okay, maybe I'm misremembering Harris then. And it had that boy who was in a bunch of movies as that boy. Oh, here we go. Lisa checked it out. So IMBD, which is, of course, the authority on such things. Never wrong. Robert Duvall, Michael Caine, and Haley Joel Osment, who must be that boy who was in all those movies at that time. Yeah, it was really a very, very good movie. I greatly enjoyed it. Was he the I See Dead People kid? I watched that movie once, and I was about 15 minutes into it, and I said, oh, Bruce Willis is dead, isn't he? No, that's not a Hallmark movie, Cole. A good point. What are you guys doing watching a non-Hallmark movie? The other movie that I'll bring up that I believe had Duvall in it, which is an excellent film, is Wrestling Ernest Hemingway, which I think was Duvall and Harris, and a relatively young Sandra Bullock. So, folks, if you're watching, folks meaning my wife and sister-in-law, if you're watching the Lion movie right now, Secondhand Lion, when it's over, see if you can find Wrestling Ernest Hemingway. You'll love it. I mean, it is a great old curmudgeon movie, Lefty. Have you seen it? It's really, really one of my favorites. The girls are getting wild. They're all Hallmark. Ooh. Duvall and James Earl Jones in A Family Thing, says Paragon Piper. We lost James Earl Jones this week. We didn't mention that, did we? Friend of mine sent me a message when James Earl Jones died, and he said, "This is R.I.P." And I said, "No, that's not funny. That's just..." I got the joke, but it wasn't funny. 93 years old. Not a bad run for James Earl Jones. Well, folks, we have run a little bit over. Tulsa Doom, also R.I.P. Great artist. Well, sorry to hear that, Paragon. But we should tie this up for the week. It was great seeing you all. Had a great time, and this, as I say always, is the highlight of my week, especially when my wife's not home, because if I say it's the highlight of my week when she's home, then that implies that, so I could say it safely now. And I'm saying this because I know she's watching, so I got to be careful. Yeah. I got a little bit going on up here. Not much, but a little bit. They filmed the movie sequence as it was happening because they knew the kid was hitting puberty with growth spurts and voice changing. Which is this the Secondhand Lion movie, Ron? I missed something there. Anyway, I gotta run. You gotta run. We all gotta run. So, with that, we will draw this to a close. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you especially to my darling wife Lisa and her sister Denise. It was great having you guys in. Thank you all for spending this time with me and having some interesting conversation. I will be saying goodnight. I will see you on Sunday, as always, with some sort of a video or the other. And we'll be back again next Friday with Stupid Joke Night. So send me your stupid jokes, or else it'll just be me telling the same joke over and over, and you know how that goes. Good night, all. Take care.